Selection Sunday has come and gone, and let's just say it didn't go as many expected. Controversy is already swirling around the women's brackets, with teams fuming over their rankings and others celebrating some highly questionable placements. Welcome to David's Sports Report. If you love bold takes and real analysis, hit that like button and subscribe. We've got a wild March Madness ahead. Let's dive into these rankings, dissect the bracket lineups, and of course, hear the absolute outrage from coaches who feel the NCAA got it completely wrong this year. Excitement turned to shock and in some cases, rage as the top 10 overall seeds were revealed. The biggest headline, UCLA snagged the number 1 overall ranking. And let's be real, not everyone is happy about that. Critics argue South Carolina, last year's champion, deserved the top spot. But that's just the beginning of the drama. Here's the full top 10. UCLA, the surprise number 1 pick that's left some fuming. Number 2, South Carolina, the defending champs get disrespected? Number 3 is USC. Did they really earn this spot? Number 4 is Texas. Some say they're overrated, others say they're built for a deep run. Number 5 is UConn. Gino Auriemma is never happy with the ranking, so what's new? Number 6 is Notre Dame. A late season collapse sent them tumbling. Number 7 is LSU. Kim Mulkey's squad gets a tough road ahead. Number 8 is TCU, the Cinderella of this season. Number 9 is North Carolina State, a dark horse or just lucky. And number 10 is Duke, the ACC champs, but do they belong in the top 10? The biggest perk of these top seeds is home court advantage. The Sweet 16 and Elite 8 will be hosted in Spokane, Washington or Birmingham, Alabama, giving these teams a massive leg up. But was the seeding process fair? That's the million-dollar question. Now let's break down the brackets. We're going to start with Spokane 1 bracket. First off is number 1 seed UCLA will face off against UC San Diego or Southern for the first game. Next, the number 2 seed North Carolina State will go up against Vermont. Number 3, LSU will go up against San Diego State. And number 4, Baylor will go up against Grand Canyon. Again, all of these will have home court advantage. The biggest sleeper threat of this bracket is Ole Miss, Florida State, and Harvard, who has Harmony Turner. Don't sleep on them. Next up is the Spokane 4 bracket, where it has number 1 seed USC versus UNC Greensboro. Number 2, UConn versus Arkansas State. Number 3 seed Oklahoma versus Florida Gulf Coast. And number 4 seed Kentucky versus Liberty. Again, all home court advantage. Here's the hot take. UConn fans are already crying foul over their placement, but should they really be ranked higher? Moving on to the Birmingham 2 bracket, we have number 1 seed South Carolina versus Tennessee Tech. Number 2 seed Duke versus Lehigh. Number 3, UNC versus Oregon State, and number 4 ranked Maryland versus Norfolk State. And yeah, there's some questions around Maryland getting the number 4 when Tennessee is ranked 16 overall. But hey, we'll get into that later. The bold prediction here is that UNC is about to absolutely destroy Oregon State after their rough year. They lost pretty much their entire team at the end of last season to the transfer portal. This could be the most embarrassing beatdown of the first round. Also, watch out for Utah, Alabama, Vanderbilt, who has Michaela Blakes, the freshman phenom who dropped 55 points on Auburn. And last up is going to be the Birmingham 3 bracket, where you have number 1 seed Texas versus High Point or William & Mary, the number 2 seed TCU versus Fairleigh Dickinson, the number 3 seed Notre Dame versus Stephen F. Austin, and the number 4 seed Ohio State versus Montana State. In this bracket, the teams that are ready to ruin the bracket is Creighton, Tennessee, who has arguably the best defense in the tournament, Michigan, and Louisville.
As I told everybody out there, there's no easy brackets. There's no one bracket that's harder than the others. There's no easy matchups. There's no Somebody's got a tough road, somebody's got an easy road. It's just, you go where you play, you go where they tell you, and you play where they tell you.
Gino Auriemma said no bracket is easy, but some are clearly more brutal than others. And now the best part, the reactions. Some coaches are livid, throwing shade and outright questioning the NCAA's ranking process. Let's take a listen.
Looking as a basketball person overall at the bracket, you'd have to be smarter than me, I guess, to make it make sense.
There it is, the moment that Texas found out they would go dancing as a 1 seed. Go ahead and get your tickets because rounds 1 and 2 will be right here at the Moody Center. In the first round, Texas will face the winner of either High Point or William & Mary. Now, see, this is the kind of result we get when we don't rely on a coin toss to decide seeding. Texas earning a 1 seed, it isn't shocking, but still, let's not be cavalier about this accomplishment. This is the second straight season that the Longhorns are a top seed, the first time that they've earned back-to-back top seedings since the mid-'80s.
Two things, you got to get hot and you got to have a little luck. Who's hotter in the country than Texas? Like, I don't know what we are, but we're like, Danny will know, we're like 19 or 20-1 and in our last whatever game. So if you're trying to find somebody that doesn't have any confidence in our team, you're looking at the wrong guy, because I have a ton of confidence in our team.
Don, your reaction to not being the number 1 overall seed?
My reaction? I mean, I'm not in the room, but obviously I think we did much more than probably any other overall number 1 seed. We outdid ourselves even from last year with the amount of quality wins that we had. But I guess the committee was looking at something else.
What thoughts on the draw and the possible matchups?
Whether we were the number 1 overall seed or not, the draw is the draw. I mean, we're going to play each game like it's our last, and hopefully that leads us to a place hopefully everybody in this room wants us to be.
Going into this, what was your gut feeling where you'd end up versus how it played out?
My gut? My gut was the number 1 overall seed because we put the work in. That's what my gut gives me. But man says otherwise. And I don't really put my faith in man. And so we'll play with it. We'll play it. We'll play the cards that we've been dealt.
Does it help then?
Good reaction, it seemed like, from the group. I know Juju and Kenny were both kind of saying you sort of expected this. I guess, what did you think when you see them just kind of mutedly respond?
I mean, look, it's unbelievable to have 1,000 people in here. It's not lost on us at all that we've earned a 1 seed for the second year in a row. I think there's so much gratitude to be playing at home, excitement for what we're going to do. But I can't speak for them. For me, I never thought I'd be a 1 seed and feel disrespected, but I thought the committee, I thought there would be very little chance we would be the number 4 overall number 1. And so, we've got a big game here on Saturday against UNCG, and we'll handle it accordingly. But you tell me if you think that bracket that we got should have been the one that it was. I can't speak for the players. I think they're excited to play, but this was not on my bingo card to be a little bit, frustrated after being a 1 seed, and it's not, an arrogance of any kind. I think there's a lot of really good teams, and you got to play the first game in front of you and earn your way from there, and that's what we'll do. But sometimes I don't understand people who make decisions in women's basketball and why they do what they do, and certainly with this committee, I would love to ask some questions. I mean, I could go down, and just none of it makes sense to me, of how UCLA is the number 1 overall, as they should be. And we beat them twice, so then South Carolina's number 2, but then how does Texas become number 3 and we become number 4? I just needed someone to explain it. Or Maryland got the 4 seed over, let's say, Ole Miss and the Big Ten SEC thing. And so it doesn't make sense to me. But that being said, we're super excited to be playing at home. We have some really good teams coming here to Galen. That'll be exciting. And every game, you got to take one game at a time. But if there's a little extra motivation for a team that's already a 1 seed, we're going to have it.
Bottom line is, your work will speak for itself, and just focus on what you're earning and being present that day. And I just think that's what led us to getting the seed that we have, and is our focus on our process, and so really proud of the opportunity. That being said, it is just that. It's an opportunity. It gives us a great chance to have great matchups and to have great success if we walk through that door of opportunity. So our only focus will be being 1-0 and taking advantage of playing our best basketball and going from there.
All right. Hit me with your best shots. We're playing at home. Doesn't guarantee you any victories, but it sure is good not to have to pack this weekend.
Yeah, if you just speak to that, I guess for much of what I felt this season, you've been aiming towards this moment, right? This is the tournament that counts, getting the host, those kinds of things. Can you speak to the rewarding nature of that and then also just the mindset now that it's here?
It's like excitement in the air. I mean, just look at our fans out there, excited. It's exciting to see who you're going to play. It's exciting to once again be exposed on national television. You can't put a dollar sign on what that means. And to see LSU up there and to see the girls in the video, and this is why you play. And only 16 of us get to host.
I was going to ask about Latson. What kind of challenges does she
Will you let me win the first game? And then you ask me whatever you want about Latson. Fair enough?
Sure.
I got to win the first game. She's got to win her first game. So, Reed, I can't even think about anybody but San Diego State. And when you're going into a game and you know nothing about personnel, man, you just start focusing in and you start fixating on that one team. And so let us get through that team before I start talking about Latson. But tomorrow I will think about things I will present to them that hopefully will motivate them. Details more of who's in our bracket, people we have played, scores of games of people we're hopefully going to play, and just remind them that 3 seed has been good to us at LSU.
You know, whatever's going to happen is going to happen. Like, I don't think I can get fined for any of this. And I'm being as honest as I can be. We're really excited to play on Saturday at home. I think our team earned a number 1 seed. I think there's a lot of fine hairs and things like this. But look at me. You guys see me normally. I'm not normally like this kind of agitated. I like things that make sense. I don't like being disrespected. I think we win scheduled UConn and scheduled Notre Dame this year for a reason. You might have to match up with people again, but like, I just don't understand. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. It also doesn't make sense down the line, but there's a lot of good teams. We're focused on Saturday. Who knows what's going to happen after that? And, you know.
Oh, it's surreal. It truly is. This whole journey is surreal. The last 2 years and everything that's unfolded is surreal. And so you kind of feel like you're living in the movie as this thing just keeps unfolding. And it's, you know, we truly set these 2 goals in June, is have a chance to compete for a league title and try to put yourself in position to host and be a top 16 overall seed. And this team did both of those. And you grind for those 10 months because it is such a massive advantage to get to play at home during March Madness. And Schollmeyer's been incredible all year, which we haven't been beaten here yet. And so I hope the fans and the community, come out. It's the first time March Madness has ever been held here in Fort Worth. And so what a neat opportunity for this community, the basketball community, and just the DFW Metroplex to be able to come and be a part of March Madness. So I'm excited. Friday can't get here soon enough. Yeah, now it's you have earned the opportunity to earn a 40-minute game, and you can't look ahead. And it happens every year, all these upsets that you see all over college basketball. But because of our veteran group, I think they sense it, they understand it, and they know what it takes. And
to the number 3 seed.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm so excited to play. We had a week off, had some great practices. I always embrace this moment. Like, this is a blessing. We're going to be hosting. Like, this is big. So excited, ready to get to work.
What do you feel like you guys have learned from those losses, from this stretch at the end of the season to maybe help you get ready for the NCAA tournament?
Yeah, I mean, defensively, we have to lock in. I think that was the area, and they mentioned it kind of on the television. We have to be better defensive-minded team. We showed it all season long, have come up short this last couple weeks, and so that's what we've been focusing on. Is what I've personally been focused on, and the team knows, and they responded this past week.
Any motivation to see you on the 3 line? Like you did enough work to be a 2 seed.
Yeah, I mean, but you can't control it. You got to control what you can control. So my message is, coming out here, Stephen F. Austin is our next opponent, and we have to get to work with him.
Playing Friday, is that an advantage? Friday, Sunday, or does it matter?
It doesn't matter. More time to prepare. Again, we're at home, so we have an opportunity to come out here to put it on the line. The stakes are even higher than the ACC tournament because this is the NCAA tournament. So we're excited to play Friday, excited to be in front of our fans, and going to take advantage of that opportunity.
Coach, how much
do you think television ratings have anything to do with this?
Wouldn't you think they would want the best television ratings potentially in Tampa? I mean, there's so much basketball to go, but, I don't know. I would think, that makes no sense to me.
Doesn't matter what the seedings are at this point in the year. You just got to go out and you got to be ready to play. And we know it's going to be a very tough game, but we're looking forward to it. We're just happy to have an opponent. Ironically, Charlie Cream got it right. He had the seedings wrong, but he had the opponent right. So it kind of made me watch the game a little bit last night, but we're excited to have an actual opponent, and we'll get after it.
I know you expected to host, but now that you know that for sure, how much of a difference does that make?
It's a big difference, and obviously, 5 years ago when we first heard our name at Virginia Tech, I was just hoping to get in. I didn't care about seeding. When I was at James Madison, I didn't even know what seeding meant. It was just like, okay, we're in. We celebrated, and it didn't matter what your number was. As we got to be pretty good at James Madison, we understood the importance of seeding. And so, being on that 4 line and being able to host, and we've hosted when I was at Virginia Tech, and it means the world. Gives you a home court advantage and gives you an opportunity to advance. And so it's very, very important, very important. One line up, and we would have been going to Kansas State, so it would have been very, very difficult. So we understand the importance of it. We don't take it lightly. We know the responsibility that comes with it, and we're looking forward to it.
Coach,
I wouldn't think we were going to be the number 4 overall number 1.
Do you think this is a sign that maybe nationally you guys aren't as respected as you should be?
No, I think nationally we really are. I think there's a couple of people sitting in a committee room who make decisions. Because I think if you asked people, everyone would look and say our bracket's loaded. Mm-hmm. It is loaded.
Quite so.
Yeah, and there's a lot of good teams, but yeah. I think nationally,
you guys have
I don't think that's who we're talking about.
I thought it was great. I don't think there's any surprises that pop up in these brackets. You kind of put 2 and 2 together, and you start to realize that there's only so many teams that they can put in certain places, and then after you see one bracket, start the process of elimination. By the time we got to our bracket, we kind of knew the whole bracket by then. The travel is going to be challenging. Let's hope we have the challenge of if we win, it's the longest trip back to Tampa of anyone else. You couldn't be further away, right? So let's hope we have that opportunity. Be a small price to pay.
The NCAA is going to still keep with that 2-site regional, I think, for at least 2028. Just what are your thoughts on now that you're 3rd straight year going out west?
I don't mind going out west if there's also an option for people to go to see a game. So if you live anywhere from New York to St. Louis, how do you get to a game? I don't understand it, So I've never been a big fan of just two places. And but what's this, 25? And 3 more years of this?
At least.
At least. Well, like I said, you got to do what they tell you to do.
UConn is an incredibly tough 2. They're really, really good. The fact that, that potential game would be in a regional is surprising to me. But shoot, if we both get there, that would be, great for TV and a lot of people excited, and a really tough game and a really exciting game. And like, you know, Juju, I heard Juju say our team gets up for challenges, but.
What can this little extra ounce of external motivation do for your team?
I mean, we're going to play it. You know, obviously it's disappointing. It really is. I'd like to get some feedback on how they came to that conclusion. Because we put together, we manufactured a schedule that, if done right, it should produce the overall #1 seed. But I will say this: we're going to make adjustments to our schedule in the future if, you know, if the standard is the standard. If that's the standard, then we can play any schedule and get a #1 seed.
It's not going to be where you just tip it off and it's a cakewalk. Everybody can play now. There's so much parity in the women's game that you might see some differences in, you know, like big scores, but it's not going to be right out of the gate because people are going to give you their best shots. You've got a lot of good coaches in this tournament, and that's good for us. It's good for women's basketball, and hopefully they're going to get our best shot.
Yeah, stars are going to emerge. That's what you're going to see. I think you have a lot of household names that are out there right now. You have some sleepers teams, but this is the moment where big stairs, big stage, they emerge. And so I'm excited to see that for my team, but also I'm excited for this women's tournament because it's going to be really fun.
How prepared? Let's go play. Let's see what happens. That's why they call it March Madness.
Now I ask you, was the selection fair? Were certain teams set up to fail, or are the complaints just making excuses? Let's hear your takes in the comments. As always, thank you for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe to keep up with the madness. You can find us on YouTube, Instagram, and Blue Sky. Thanks so much for watching. We will see you on the next one. Goodbye.